Hello, hello, y'all. It's Listener Lois coming back with another read. How are you guys doing out there? Doing well. I hope taking good care of yourselves. Okay, we just gonna breeze by this, see what comes out. The energy is the energy. Again, take what resonates and leave the rest. All right. I hope everybody is doing well, drinking their water, taking good care of themselves, minding their business. Okay, doing what it is that you can when you can, how you see fit. Um, let's just go ahead and see what is taking place. You know what? I'm not even gonna start off like that. Let's see what's going on. Okay. And please stay hydrated around this time, okay? Like, man, that is really one of the top key factors at this point. Okay. We got a few things. We have healing and self care. Oh, can y'all see that? Okay. We got healing and self care. My light is a little different today. Let's see. There we go. Healing and self care. That's one. Spiritual awakening, okay? That's been coming out a lot lately. You definitely need to be using more of your intuition. And then lastly, we have is to take a gamble. So it's definitely something that you may potentially want to start on, or something that you've been having more of an intuitive nudge as to doing, putting yourself out there, starting a project, something, okay? Let's keep on going. See, what are you taking a gamble on? What are we taking a gamble on? It could be honestly taking more of a gamble of taking a gamble on yourself, as far as doing the different things that you want to do regarding your own healing, in the ways that you want to heal. May look different from another person. Oh, okay. What? All right, let's start. Let's start. I did ask. Okay. So you definitely could be taking, not even could, you're taking risk, or you're taking more of an authoritative approach regarding a love interest. Okay, you are the peanut butter to my jelly. That is so cute. I like that. Ain't that cute, y'all? But that is something that you are definitely could be taking a gamble on, whether if you feel like you have healed enough, because I do like the way that I always look at the way the cards came out far as in order, and you maybe feel a lot more healed in a sense. Healing is a everlasting lifelong process or whatever. Okay, just because you heal from one thing, there's probably other things that you need to put a more of a focus or focal point on. But as of right now, you're feeling really good and really wholesome within yourself or whatever. Okay, because this was the first card that came out, and you are also listening to your intuition and allowing yourself to guide you, and you're ready to basically take a gamble on a love interest. Now, again, this doesn't necessarily have to be you. This could be potentially the other person that you are also dealing with. Again, you know your role inside of your own scenario, situation, and life. Okay, I'm just going ahead and just pulling out what's coming out, and then we just talk about it. Simple as that. But you know, alternatively, what's going on now. Do have some fire energy coming in, okay? Strong passion and desires energy coming in with the Leos, Aries, and Sagittarius, okay? So this definitely could be amongst an Aries, Leo, or a Sag that has a eye on you. Love that, okay? And then there's also somebody, and this also could be also, okay, because I'm seeing it two different ways. So again, take what resonates and leave the rest. That there could be also a fire sign that is necessarily trying to come in and have a conversation with you, with the can we talk and a confession card, okay? And with that being said and done, maybe they want to be able to confess how they really feel about you, okay? That's also another way that I'm seeing this. But ultimately, let's keep it a bean. Sometimes with them fire signs or whatever, they a little spicy. So you do have anger. It says arguments and conflict, okay? And it's definitely could be potentially with a fire sign, okay? If somebody really wants to let it be known as far as where they stand, all right? Simple as that. I did not turn on my ring camera this time because I just felt like every single time I do that, y'all can't see, and I don't like that. Okay. Flying out at the bottom is expected changes around autumn, okay? Autumn and fall time or whatever, to expect some changes coming in the new future. This definitely could be, with the way I'm saying it, could be regarding this actual said union. Um, if this is a union between you and another person. Okay, you have career shift, work change, and a calling. Okay, so let's talk about it for real, because seriously, I do feel like, because a lot of more people are becoming more spiritually inclined and aware of not only just themselves but their surroundings and the people around them, you definitely could be going through a career shift or whatever. And the career shift that you're going through, you're getting the intuitive nudges or whatever that it's time for you to get out of whatever it is that you're doing now and to become into more of the occult. Now, again, I always like to reiterate and give people the broadening of spiritualness as a whole. Okay, it's not just these cards, it's not just the crystals. There is a plethora, there is so many different ways that people need healing or helping ways to heal. So definitely I could be talking to a lot of my healers or whatever while I am doing this spread, okay? Because I'm definitely picking that up, where you're doing a lot of the work and stuff on yourself, but now you want to be able to help others, and maybe in the way that you want to help others and take a massive shift is going to require you to change up, switch up your career field a little bit, or make some necessary changes to revamp um, proceeding forward as to how you can help the collective but still, make a living or do what it is that you need to do. But there's definitely a change coming up in the future, and this change definitely could be around autumn, fall time or whatever. So it doesn't necessarily have to be um, in the current, like that, like within the last previous week or this week coming up. Okay. So you got some time to prepare is what I'm saying. Because you definitely want to, especially with this take a gamble, there's something that you want to take a gamble on. And I do feel like of the gamble that you want to take is not necessarily on love. It could be all of it. It could be a new love interest, and it also could be regarding your career and you switching up your careers. And being mindful of when you do make a change and shift or whatever like that, sometimes, especially when it affects your finances and your career goals, and where you want to go, then you do need to recalibrate or whatever as far as your finances and stuff like that. And it does take time. So that's the reason why they're saying maybe expect more changes to come up around the autumn time, as opposed to, I quit my job yesterday. Like, why you do that? I mean, if that's what you feel like you need to do, I ain't gonna tell you what you can and can't do, but hey. Okay, you got masculine energy coming in. This could be more of a maybe masculine energy helping you with assistance to help you get your helping you during your career shift and getting your whatever it is that you're gambling on, taking like the leap of faith, taking those, what I'm looking for is always a word, taking more of authoritative role in your life. Okay. And who doesn't love that? Okay, being able to come and go and move however you see fit or whatever without having to and honestly, whoever this is with this anger, conflict, and arguments, like, you're going to have so much going on that you're focusing on regarding your future and this career shift and change and other change. There's going to be, long story short, there's going to be so many other changes that are going on. Whatever is going on regarding on the back end regarding this energy of arguments and conflict and stuff, I don't feel like you're going to have necessarily even in the time to even focus on whatever. It's almost like it's just a distraction that's basically trying to come in short. There's basically a distraction that is trying to come in to basically um or maybe even deter you from this forward motion and movement that is happening for you in the right direction. Obviously, like, you're going to take a gamble on something and you're going to excel. Now, again, only you know personally what that is specifically, but that is the growing theme here. Okay, yeah, because you found your purpose, or at least you know you feel you want to be more in alignment with your purpose, your path, and your awakening overall. So you've already went through a spiritual awakening, and your intuition has basically been giving you different nudges along the way. And now you feel like enough nudges have came out where it is basically telling you, okay, now it's time. You've been kind of like um I was gonna say BSing, but maybe you were hesitant. There we go. That's the word I was looking for earlier. You was a little bit hesitant about what things would look like, and so now you're taking more of a leap of faith approach and more of a gamble on really stepping yourself out there, okay, regarding your soul's mission and really stepping into that. Okay. And again, whatever that may look like for you, a lot of people don't understand. Like, even when we go and get massages and do certain things, that they're helpful. Okay, excuse me, I had a call coming in, but yes, it's basically you've been getting these necessarily. Long story short, you've been getting these nudges along the way, whether if it's sign sigils and stuff or whatever. But the good part is you're coming from a very healed space. You're coming from a very balanced space. You've took your time to really assess where you are and where you have evolved regarding your own personal spiritual awakening, and really trusting your own intuition to even actually move forward in this positive, sorry, not positive, but just moving forward in the direction of really whatever feels right regarding your path and purpose or whatever. And if it does not feel like it's in alignment, which when it does feel like some of the conflict that also could be potentially coming in has been regarding your career and whatever your current, excuse me, whatever your current career is at this moment, you know that there is a necessary shift, that you kind of need to take more of an authoritative, more masculine, use a little bit more of your masculine energy, taking more of an authoritative approach as to how you want to proceed moving forward when you do make this transition. Okay, so okay, okay, let's proceed forward. Something bit my foot. So let's see what else that they have for you. Okay. And that's definitely something that needs to be talked about. Okay, so another alternative, or another that will also help you during this transition or whatever, when you do take this said gamble, is the support. Okay, seek support. It says you don't have to do everything alone. Maybe that is the reason why your process has, you've been a little bit having the hesitation, because you feel like when you make certain career shift in your work, or even work um reflecting around more of your calling and your purpose and your path, your awakening path and mission, you feel like you may not have as much support. And so this is something that you are being very diligent about right now. And I will say also, when you get the support or whatever, to um just be mindful as a whole. Okay, don't squander the support. Take the support very seriously, but most importantly, to actually seek it out, which again will also play into more of this masculine energy, as far as you having more an authoritative role. You are really having to be, it's really given honestly like somebody is making the lunge to finally go into being like a full-time entrepreneur, as maybe as opposed to they were like working and doing entrepreneurship on the side as kind of like part-time, but now they're ready to kind of like go full-fledged entrepreneurship, taking things basically a lot more serious and ready to go to the next level. And you need definitely a good nucleus and network support system to help you while you're going through this transition and moving on in the foreseeable future. So love it, love it, love it. Let's see if there is anything else. Okay, yeah, because you definitely going through a transformation. I love that. Look at this card, y'all. You have transformation is the soul's evolution. Okay, understanding that even where you once were when you were a worm that was in the chrysalis. I know y'all know what I'm talking about. Well, maybe some people might know what I'm talking about. There was this reel that was going around, floating around for a while. And the lady had a beautiful breakdown about how people don't pay attention too much between that transformation phase and process, kind of like when you go from basically what we're talking about now, when you actually are taking it more serious upon yourself or whatever to basically do the necessary change, far as when you're going in transition from um, the worm into the chrysalis, or from just being the chrysalis in itself before you become this beautiful butterfly that we see here on this card. But at the end of the day, each last one of those stages or whatever do indeed in fact take time. And I do feel like right now you've been kind of like more in a chrysalis stage of just kind of like just holding on, or not holding on, but just, how do I put it? I'm always looking for a word. I was finna say stationary, but I don't feel like that's the proper word for this. But we'll just use it for now. But you've been just basically compliant, or what is the other word I'm looking for? Ugh, it'll come to me. But basically, you just been trying to just pretty much stay afloat and stay stable. But even of what you're doing regarding your career shift, and feeling like the calling and the work that you need to do, moving forward, you'll kind of know a little bit, even amongst your career. You'll kind of know when it's ready to, when it's time for you to do that shift, because you will deal with a lot more, honestly, conflict. You'll deal with a lot more conflict. You'll deal with a lot more of interesting days, if you will, that are kind of like, and those days are kind of like pushing you and nudging you to work a little bit more harder, okay, with that masculine energy, so that you can get to the other side of it, where basically for instance, a lot of people, when they're in transition of a career and going into doing something more of what they love and like to do, or going full blown entrepreneurship, right? They go through this little bit of phase where it's like it doesn't matter how much they try to show up and be even positive some days or whatever, right? There is just becomes a lot more challenging, if you will. Not saying that it can't be done, but it can tend to be a little bit more challenging, far as really just trying to push it through and seek it out with the other career. But because it is basically out of alignment now, you'll deal with a lot more conflict and a lot more rift. You may even deal with a lot more anger and arguments amongst like the people working there, with if you see people on a daily basis, or just like um, depending on the environment, like you'll just kind of like notice little different things that are kind of like shifting, that are letting you know that that said environment is pretty much no longer beneficial for you, and so it's time for you to make a change. And a lot of times when we're being stubborn and don't want to make the change, and we're being stubborn to the change, to where the point where starting to be met with like resistance, that it's I don't want to say like you're pretty much being pushed out at that point, but that's kind of a little bit of what may happen. Child, please. Ooh, do with that what you will. I hope they help. But yes, let's go ahead and see if there is anything else and get out of here. So if anybody needed confirmation, okay, it definitely is here. And connection, okay? So not only support, but connection. It says stay connected with others, nature, and the universe, okay? It's giving, what just popped up with me? That Frankie Beverly and Mays "We Are One" song. That's a really good song. I think almost everybody in the world knows that song. That's like a universal song, honestly. But yes, you have connection, okay? And also, I will say too, especially with it coming out with the support card and you going through a transformative period right now, some of the support that you may need, or of some of the connections, because it says stay connected with others. Maybe you had fell off from some people that you may now need in order to get a better understanding of entrepreneurship, if that is the role that you are going, or just, whatever this career shift that may look like. It's going to be very sketchy, very scary, to a certain extent. We're not going to feed into those fears, of course not, but we do know that that transition is going to come with its own level of new angst and with newness or whatever. Even though it's a bold fresh start, okay, it comes with you also being back put into more of the student, as opposed to you being the teacher. And so you always want to make sure that you have a balance between both. And so right now, staying connected with others, nature, and the universe. But what stuck out to me more is the staying connected with others. There may be some people that you may have not necessarily not been as communicative with, maybe over the past couple of months or so, that may resurface, or just you being more mindful of you keeping your connections with people, okay? Because that's also very important when you are doing anything, okay? So that is that. And then let's see, let's get one more. And then we are out of here. Out of here. Let's see what we got. Oh, yes. Okay, because it's definitely, like, again, like I said, this was a perfect card. Affirmation at the top, it says you have is challenge. Okay, this card is all about challenges, and what you can basically say to make more of a optimistic approach is I embrace all test. Again, it says I embrace all test. It says, allow me to flow with what I cannot change. Let me embrace all tests and release any fear of loss, okay? Knowing that all can be replenished with ease and divine will. And I do feel like that is going to be one of the biggest things that is going to have to be focused on at this current energy when things start happening, is you embracing the different transformative periods that you are going through, okay? Maybe there has been a period where you had felt more grounded and stable, far as what you wanted to do, how you wanted to do it, what your future was going to look like, yada yada, fill in the blank. But now you may be a little bit more hesitant, but you also want to make sure that you're embracing um, the hesitation, in a sense. And what I mean by that is just like, that this also becomes a part of the process. Um, so that moving forward, again, it's all about releasing fear of loss, okay? Fear of loss. That you're not necessarily, it's not like you're losing out. You're not losing anything or whatever. If anything, you're just recalibrating. That's the way I always like to say recalibration, especially with this transformation card coming out. You're definitely going through a transformation, and you definitely have increase a lot of your intuition, and your spiritual alignment is letting you know that, hey, it's time for you to get on your shit. Simple as that. It's time for you to go for what it is that you want. It's time for you to go after your purpose, your path. And you definitely have spiritual awakening and just awakening. You can't go back from what you once know. As much as scary as it may seem, you don't necessarily know what the future may hold or necessarily look like, and maybe you're used to having more of a blueprint, in a sense. But with this, they're saying embrace all the tests and challenges that come a hold, because it's going to work out in the foreseeable future. And the good part is, with the support card coming out, you don't have to go through this process by yourself. And I think that is the biggest top tier thing that could be um, definitely noted at this point in time. That is what I have for you guys. Thank you guys so much for allowing yourselves to listen and watch. I appreciate all the feedback. Okay, let me know if any of this resonated for you, if it did, if it didn't. In the meantime, in between time, I want you guys to be easy. Take care, drink your water, mind your business, do the best that you can to keep yourself mentally, physically, and spiritually aligned as much as possible. And I will talk to y'all when I talk to y'all. Bye.